So while we were at Rockbridge down in Cedar Park, life groups, we called them there. It's what we know as small groups here, home groups. We led a life group there initially. It had about 8 couples in it, and it was a very dynamic group. For us, life groups were simply doing life together, and that meant when some of the kids with some of the families would have problems, it became known to the life group.
Right.
And so the group collectively could respond to those problems.
So we could help guide them, and we developed deep friendships with everyone there, and that still continue this day from that one life group.
So we moved to a development called Santa Rita Ranch, and we were one of the first houses in that development, and we had just come out of our original life group.
Right.
And we were attending a homeowners association meeting one evening, and I remember looking out over the group and commenting to you that this has the makings of a great life group here.
Right.
And so that was the beginning nudge that we felt from the Holy Spirit to start considering a life group. And so as I would walk around at night and come across people, I would invite them.
Right.
And
some were receptive.
Some were receptive, some said no thank you. You sent emails.
Sent emails out and notes to different people.
And so it was an eclectic group, meaning we had people from every denomination you could think about, from Methodist to Baptist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Episcopalian, Mormon, Catholic, agnostic, and even atheist.
Even atheist, yes.
So it was that made for dynamic conversation. We ended up having 4 baptisms out of that group.
Right.
And I believe 3 of those were professions of faith, the first ones. And so 2 of them were baptized in their home church, and then 1 was baptized in our HOA pool.
Yep.
And Pastor Wade came up and did those honors for us.
Some of the highlights for me was definitely making friends with some of the ladies in the group. Like I said, some of them were people that I probably wouldn't normally have run around with or introduced myself to, you know, on just a day-to-day basis. But we became good friends, and I felt comfortable there. I felt like I could tell them anything, and they would accept me, and if I had any challenges or anything like that, they would help me through that. So I really enjoyed the camaraderie and the friendship that came from being in that group.
So to simply be part of a group means that you connect with people on a different level than you ever could sitting in the sanctuary on a Sunday morning, or even in a different setting like large classrooms.
Right.
There's just not any way that the conversation is the same, and the depth and level of understanding that you have of others and their challenges and their questions can never be the same.
And you really get to know people in a larger setting like that. You can't really get to know people on a personal level, and being in a small group you can, and you can go as deep as you want to go.
You know, when I came here, my role was Senior Saints Ministry, and some think that's simply doing events or visiting people in nursing homes or assisted living or that type of thing. And really, while that's part of it, my role to me is the evangelistic part of disciple making of seniors. I mean, think of the resource that our seniors are.
So much knowledge.
So much knowledge and wisdom
Yes.
and experience in the ways that God has worked in their life. And how could it not be good for younger families to sit at the knees, so to speak, of some of these senior saints and hear these stories of
Right.
how God has worked and helped them through tough times.
And it would be such a benefit to that senior saint to be in a group like that, because I mean, I know some of their days get long and they're lonely, and even if they're not, it would just be good for them to be in a group where they could talk about life and what they've been through. It would be such a benefit to everyone.
Yeah, what is connection?
Right.
You're connected in a different, deeper way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say give it a shot.
Give it a chance. Just come one time.
Come and see,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is what I say. And be open to let the Spirit run.
Right.
Do what the Spirit does. And that's to transform people. Because, I mean, after all, in Matthew, Christ said, "Come follow me and I will make you fishers of men
True.
and women
Mm-hmm.
and people." And to me, that means you're committed to Christ. You're willing to be transformed by Christ. And you are on board with the mission of Christ to transform the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exciting to me. That's a great adventure.
Yes.